Be prepared for something new. Everyone is different. So are you. Stay straight. No masquerades. Do things that you'll remember. You can push too far, but stay fair. Stay on track. Give it your all. Get to the bottom of things. Decide what's right. Don't believe in what the others do. Find it out for yourself. Be close to it all. Bring your heart along. Follow your goals. Reach for the stars. Turn the weekend into the loudest party of your life. Are you prepared?
Welcome along, everybody, to the Lausitzring as we prepare to go qualifying for the second race of the weekend. It will be qualifying for round 4 of the 2017 DTM. Chris Hartley here, trackside, to talk you through the action today. And I'm joined in the commentary box by Alex Tyrrell, a driver that has won 2 24-hour races, one in Dubai in his class and the other at the Nürburgring, a VLN champion, ex-Porsche Carrera Cup, Formula 4, Formula 3 race up, and somebody that knows this circuit well. Morning, Alex. We had a very good race yesterday. The new regulations so far have giving us some tremendous excitement, and also very close qualifying session as we've become accustomed to. I think yesterday in qualifying, the whole field was covered by less than a second.
Good morning, Chris. Exactly. We expecting really nice day, really good sunshine at the racetrack, warm temperatures. Yeah, like you were saying, really exciting race yesterday, really exciting qualifying with all the grid within a second. So I guess we will have the same today, and looking forward to see who is our poleman today.
There's René Rast, who picked up his maiden podium finish in the DTM yesterday, his first full season in DTM. We saw how much that meant to him, and reading on social media what René was posting yesterday, he said he's always dreamed of racing in the DTM. You think how many things René has won in Porsches, in the Super Cup, in the Porsche Carrera Cup, in Germany, a Le Mans race, or a sports car race, a hugely successful driver. But that podium yesterday meant an awful lot to him, didn't it?
Yeah, exactly. When you are new to such a series, such important series, German driver, the most important German series overall, you want to be in the podium, you want to be racing there. But of course, when you achieve this already in your first full year, in your second race, it's fantastic.
And Lucas Sauer, we saw there, who was on pole yesterday, got his 5th pole position, and he turned that into his 3rd career victory. Eyes were shut there. You see these drivers just focusing themselves now, just mentally running through a lap in their mind's eye, getting prepared to get every thousandth of a second they can out of qualifying. They had their 3rd free practice session of the weekend this morning. It was Jamie Green that was fastest for Audi with a 1:16.7. René Rast going well again in 2nd. Matthias Ekstrom was 3rd quickest. Then Nico Muller, Robert Wickens rounding out the top 5. And you can see there the one that's, 2 of the top drivers, both former champions that have really been struggling this weekend, Paul di Resta and Bruno Spengler. And Bruno was the last driver to score a victory for BMW here at this circuit. That was back in 2012, the year they came back into the DTM. But a difficult race yesterday for Bruno. In fact, a difficult start to the season. There's the defending champion, Marco Wittmann, who has been going well. It certainly went well at the first round at Hockenheim for BMW, coming from 17th on the grid to finish 3rd in one of the races. Disappointing qualifying session it was yesterday for Jamie Green. He qualified just outside the top 10. There he is in the orange number 53 Audi. But it was found later that he'd used the wrong set of tyres. He'd used his teammates' tyres, and you're not allowed to do that. And so he was kicked out of qualifying. He had to start at the back of the grid, as we see. 150 races he's now done. That's Gary Paffett. That was his 150th race in the DTM yesterday, and he marked it with a good, strong top 6 finish and moving up into 2nd place in the championship standings. So qualifying important. We saw lots of different strategies, in the race pit when they want that. They have to do a mandatory pit stop, but you can pit whenever you like in the race once the first lap is complete. Jamie Green pitting very early, and he managed to get up the order in the race in the end to finish just inside the points in 10th place. But Jamie, who was second in the championship coming into the weekend, a race winner at the Hockenheim, will be desperate for a good result here, but it looked like he went well in the free practice sessions this morning. So they go out onto the track. It's a 20-minute session, Alex. It is warmer today. Certainly the track temperature already at this time of day a lot hotter than it was yesterday. It was slightly overcast yesterday. So this is more like the temperatures we were seeing on Friday for free practice. Yeah, exactly. It's pretty warm today. The sun is shining stronger than yesterday. Yesterday was a little bit overcast. We had some clouds. And like you were saying, we already feel the temperature is higher here. This means, for example, all these drivers that are going now with these new tires, which are cold, because as we know now in the DTM, we have no tire heaters anymore. It's going to be better, but of course it will play a big role later in the race when it's going to be even hotter than now to see all those tires working with this degradation. So I'm looking forward to see qualifying. We just saw Audi getting almost all his cars really at the early. They were all waiting down the light at the finish, at the end of the pit lane. So we'll see the different strategy the teams are doing on qualifying. That's right. On board from the front splitter of Mike Rockenfeller, had a very good drive yesterday. He was one of the early pit stoppers, but he had good pace at the end of the race as well, even though his second set of tyres have been used for quite a number of laps. And there is Rocky. Back to top form with Audi after a difficult couple of seasons, particularly last year. We didn't have too many highs last year, didn't get onto the podium at all in the season, but Mike Rockenfeller, top driver, not just in DTM but with endurance racing as well. And Mike, one of 6 champions in the field, won the title back in 2013. So yesterday the race was won by Luca Sauer, second victory in 2 years here at the Lausitzring. Robert Wickens, his Mercedes teammate, was next to him in second place. René Rast, as I say, getting a podium, and the best BMW was Maxime Martin in 4th. Mike Rockenfeller and Gary Paffett rounding out the top 6 finishers yesterday. In terms of qualifying, the pace yesterday was the low 1 minute 16. So Luca Sauer got pole position yesterday with a 1 minute 16.193. And that put him a 10th clear of Robert Wickens, who qualified second. So Mercedes were 1 and 2 in qualifying yesterday. Maxime Martin in the BMW posted a late time to break into the top 3 in his BMW. The Belgian started race number 1 in 3rd place. So we will see the first times being posted, but they won't be very quick yet. It'll be coming up in the next couple of laps where we see them getting into the very quick times. Be interested to see what the pace is like compared to yesterday. So a big crowd here gathered for what's a motorsport festival. It's not just all the DTM fans, but lots of fans support the GT Masters Championship. The 2 championships come together for this weekend, ably supported by Porsches and Formula 4 cars, and tens of thousands of people here packing out the grandstands yesterday and today. Luca Sauer then, who looked very comfortable yesterday, didn't he, in the race to take the victory. Tom Blomqvist will be hoping for a much better run, getting into strife yesterday and only finishing in 17th place. The British driver, the ex-Formula 3 racer, but it looks like he is about to set a decent early time, somewhere in the 118s, I would think. Through he comes, no, just outside, 119.4. That is the quickest time so far. So these tyres that they've got this year, Alex, from Hankook, who supply all the tyres and have extended their deal for a number of years now to supply to DTM. They're a different compound, aren't they? They're deliberately softer, which means they are quicker, they are grippier, but they have less durability, as we saw yesterday in the races as well. You can't use tyre warmers in DTM anymore, and they were slippery as ice as they came out of the pits yesterday on the cold tyres, weren't they? Yeah, we're watching, for example, now Timo Glock on the screen. He went out of the pit lane yesterday and straight on the gravel path. Losing the car, and yeah, this is exactly what you said. When you have cold tires there, cold as ice in race, you can lose at any second. So they go straight away full throttle, and of course the tires cannot handle the speed, and they end up making small mistakes or running wide on the corners. Here in qualifying, they have a little bit more time to wear them up. That's why we saw the cars waving and braking. And for example, we saw in the image before Lucas Auer making some gap to have a free lap. And now we'll see the lap times going down and down as they get the tires right into temperature. Now Matthias Ekström already P2 2 seconds faster than Blomqvist, who was a few seconds ago P1 with 1:19. Yeah, Eki, the 2004 2007 champion, going into the 117. So too is Bruno Spengler with a 117.021, but they're going to have to go quicker. They're going to have to, I would think, at least be in the mid 116s to be challenging for pole position. Gary Pavitt on a good lap. He's quicker than anybody in the first sector, the longer sector. Personal best in sector 2. What's this going to be? A 117-ish? Yeah. Oh, under. A 116.799. So the first one to break into the 116s is Gary Pavitt. Going well here this weekend, as I say, up to second place in the championship now, behind Lucas Auer. Lucas has got 68 points, 34 points for Gary Pavitt. Mike Rockenfeller is third in the standings after yesterday's race on 31 points. And we should also point out, Alex, there are extra points available these days for being in the top 3 in qualifying.
Exactly, we have extra points in qualifying this year, so when the guy who achieved the pole, so the driver who achieved the pole will get 3 points, second place will get 2 points, and third place will get 1 point. And we already seen yesterday with Lucas Auer, he achieved 2 poles this year, and it's making already a difference in the points. So I'm really sure towards the end of the year we will see even a bigger difference, and due to these qualifying points.
Absolutely, yeah, you do that nine times and you get the equivalent basically of a race win in terms of points. Not that anybody's going to get 9 poles this year. There's slow-mo of Lucas Auer. Jamie Green has gone quickest now with a 116.677. So he, Gary Pavitt, Matthias Ekstrom, Timo Glock fourth in the 16s now. Tom Blomqvist for BMW goes to the top of the times. 1 minute 16.617. There are 3 of them now in the 116.6s. Gary Pavitt's on another good lap here. See him just adjusting the brake balance as he goes into turn 1, 116.506. He goes back to the top of the times, but only for a split second, because right behind him on the track, Maxime Martin has crossed the line in the BMW, and he's gone quickest with the 116.379. So it's Martin for BMW, Pavitt for Mercedes, Blomqvist for BMW. Farfus is going well. Haven't seen too much in the way of good fortune for the likeable Brazilian so far this year, but he is there, 4th quickest currently, with Jamie Green just behind him in 5th place. Marco Wittmann is in the 116.6s as well and is in currently 6th place. Ekstrom 7th, Glock, Rockenfeller and Wickens rounding out the top 10. Lucas Auer on pole position yesterday. He's only at the moment in 12th place. Paul de Resta, difficult day yesterday. Was one of the drivers that struggled on the cold tyres and caused some contact and then was given a drive-through penalty. But there's nothing between BMW, Audi and Mercedes here. They all seemed to go well in the race yesterday. All very evenly matched. Mercedes had their noses in front, but there were plenty of Audis and BMWs scoring points as well and going well in qualifying. Marco Wittmann is on a personal best lap here to try and improve upon 8th place. He hasn't set any purple sector times. 116.3 still the target time to beat. Comes out of the last turn here. They get up to a top speed of 240 kilometres an hour as they head down towards turn 1. Over the line he goes. 116.579. He goes up onto the provisional 2nd row of the grid as we see Jamie Green now in the Audi charging along. 12 minutes to go. And Alex, lots of them will come into the pit shortly, change tyres and have another run of 3 or 4 laps for the last part of the session, weren't they?
Yeah, exactly. We saw yesterday drivers are going for 2 attempts, so 2 shots on new tires. So they just, most of them, they just did the first shot, the first lap time. They're coming onto the pins, put new tires, wait maybe a little bit, and then try to go for that second chance in the last 10 minutes of the session. Yeah,
certainly getting, it's not just a 1 lap they get out of the tyre, they're getting 3 or 4 quick laps out of the tyres here. So 116.379 for Maxime Martin, that is the time to beat. In the 116.4s for Pavitt and Nico Muller coming up into the top 3 as well. So they're both within 7,000ths of a second of each other. Marco Wittmann and Matthias Ekstrom both in the 116.5s, so a couple of tenths away from provisional pole, but they're 4th and 5th. Wittmann 4th, Ekstrom 5th, Tom Blomqvist 6th after that first stage of qualifying, and Gustav Farfus is in 7th place. They are both in the 116.6s, as is Jamie Green in 8th place with the 116.6. Paul de Resta into the top 10, 116.8, and then you've got 4 other drivers in the 116.8s as well. Timo Glock in 10th, Maro Engel in 11th place. Maro, the winner of the overall winner of the Nürburgring 24-hour race last year. And Maro, he's been going well, hasn't he, in his first few weekends of DTM. Picked up some points at Hockenheim and here as well.
Yeah, exactly. Really good start for Maro Engel. He's been solid in the top 10, trying to get some points. Of course, it's even if it's a guy which been or driver he's been already before in DTM, you need to get adapted to the new car, new rules. When he drove last time, the cars were pretty much different. He never managed to drive a updated car. Was always driving with the car from the year before. So
Right.
this takes always a little bit till you get into the rhythm, but really good to be always close to these top 10 positions. And I'm sure he will surprise us during the year in some races.
That's right, back for the first time since 2011. That was the last time he was in DTM. Did 3 seasons in 09, 10 and 11, all with Mercedes. Best position in the championship was in that first season, actually in 12th place, but he's since gone on to become a Nürburgring 24-hour race winner. Did that on the very last lap of the 24-hour race. Fantastic result last year. Was also third in the FIA GT World Cup last year, and was the FIA GT World Cup champion in 2015. So he's been doing great things in sports cars, and comes back, I think, to DTM as a stronger driver. Still only in 29 from Munich, based, as quite a few of the drivers are these days, in Monaco. So Maxime Martin is spearheading things for BMW. A Belgian driver who went as the best qualifier for BMW yesterday. He's doing so again today.
That has also 20 degrees of rear wing.
Yeah, so we do that.
So Alex, sounds like they are discussing adjusting the angle of the rear wing on Lucas Auer's car.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe we missed some previous communication. Maybe Lucas is complaining about some rear grip or some losing some downforce on the fast corner. So yeah, like we said, 20 degrees. The drivers and engineer, we talk about degrees on the rear wheel and in the angle. So yeah, like we say, probably Paffett does a little bit more, a little bit less, and Lucas wants the same setup, or he feels it could be a better setup, and they will adjust the rear wheel of Lucas Auers like Gary Paffett has. We also should not forget the extra weight he has from yesterday. That's why we also see Weekend is struggling, and the guys or René Rast down in the qualifying, because they have to race with this extra 15 kilos.
That's right, success ballast added to the cars, which means that just because you're quick one day, it doesn't mean you're going to be quick the next, because you think, well, 15 kilograms doesn't sound a lot compared to some of the other drivers in the grand scheme of a car which weighs over a ton. But when you consider that they are always within a few hundredths of a second of each other, that extra weight that you have to take into the corners on the brakes and accelerate out of the corners does make enough difference to change things. As I say, yesterday in qualifying, if you lose 2 or 3 tenths, you lose half the places on the grid. Maxime Martin's car, Gary Paffett staying in the car as they all do, ready for this second phase of qualifying. They're all in now. There's absolutely nobody on the circuit. Gary currently second in this qualifying session so far, and on for a front row start, going to get himself a pole position. He is, of course, one of the most experienced drivers out there. 20 times a race winner. Only Matthias Ekstrom has won more DTM races than Gary in the current crop of drivers, with 22 race wins. Jamie Green, Bruno Spengler both have 14 race wins apiece. So the drivers on the grid this year, huge quality field. You've got 15 of the 18 have all been DTM winners, and they've won 115 races between them. Only Engel, Rast and Duval are non-DTM winners. Matthias Ekstrom finished his 180th DTM race yesterday. He's the most experienced driver on the grid. And then we see Lucas Auer studying the data there and they'll compare that with teammates, with others within Mercedes. And he's only 15th at the moment, so he does need to find something. Getting the gloves back on, ready for another fight. 1:16.9. He's 6 tenths of a second away from provisional pole position, but he's 15th. There he goes out, number 22. The other similar livery is Eduardo Matara, who was one of the last pit stoppers yesterday and had a decent result in 7th place. So those two making their way back out onto the circuit now. Out goes Jamie Green, who used to race for Mercedes, but has been with Audi for a few seasons now, and finding a good home with Team Rosberg, having a strong season last year and very much in contention for last year's championship title, as he is this year. Still 4th in the standings, despite a disappointing day yesterday and a disappointing first race at Hockenheim, but he's a race winner. He's won 1. Lucas Auer has won 2 races so far this year. They've been our winners at Hockenheim and the Lausitzring. There's Matthias Ekstrom then, and fairly quiet day for Matthias yesterday, finishing in 8th place, but he's going well here in 5th position. So again, with perhaps a little bit less weight to carry, we might see the Audis coming to the fore in this session.
Yeah, we'll see now. We saw already this morning in the free practice they were really strong. So we'll see now how it develops in this second shot. Usually the drivers with this second shot, they are a little bit more habituated to do new tire, and they manage to chip some tenths down to the lap time. Let's see if we see some lap times under 1:16. I think we should not have too much trouble to see some driver getting at least close to the 1:15.
Yeah, 1:16.1 yesterday. We're already into the 1:16.3s, and we did see in that last part of qualifying drivers getting quicker, didn't we, yesterday? So you're right. There's no reason why it shouldn't be happening again. Marco Wittmann about to nose out of the garage. Maxime Martin comes out now for BMW, picking up his first points of the weekend in qualifying yesterday, where he qualified third and picked up a point, and then a good solid drive through to fourth place. Did his best to fend off René Rast, but René pulled off a wonderful move to get past him into turn one. There's the left-hander at turn one, straight into the right at turn two. You go from 240 kilometres an hour. By the time they get to turn two, they're down to about 75 kilometres an hour, second gear, and they build it up through third gear, snatching briefly, second gear then, as they make their way out through turn five, back onto the tri-oval. And then the slowest, or one of the slowest corners, is the left-hander at turn six as they come back off the tri-oval, a hairpin down to 80 kilometres an hour, and then through the infield there, mostly running third, fourth gear through most of the sections, down to second again at the end of the back straight down into turn eight. And again, building up the speed coming out of the banking when they go from third gear up to top gear, up to sixth gear. And as I say, top speeds of 240 kilometres an hour as they hurtle over the start-finish line. So only 3.5 minutes to go in the session. This is going to be a big shootout now for pole position in the race to come this afternoon. Mattias Ekström is there in the top five for Audi. We've got a BMW currently top. We've got a Mercedes second. We've got an Audi third. So very evenly matched here. Martin, Paffett and Muller, the top three. Nico Muller actually classified in the results yesterday. Did enough laps to have been classified, but didn't go to post-race scrutineering, so ended up getting disqualified. But he was only 18th anyway and not in the points. He was going quite well yesterday. Looked like he was going to pick up some points, Nico Muller, but he had a brake issue towards the end of the race. But other than that, actually the reliability was good yesterday, wasn't it, Alex? Most of the drivers coming home without any problems at all.
Yeah, we saw really clean start first of all, and secondly, yeah, only beside Nico Müller has to, with I think 5 laps to the end, or 10 laps, something close to that, has to pull into the pit lane. When we see now Mattias Ekström coming already purple, West Sector 1. Not improvement in Sector 2.
It's the shortest sector though, isn't it, Sector 2? So if he can pull it together for the final sector, he might just have a chance of, maybe not provisional pole, but he only needs to find 18 thousandths of a second to get up onto the second row of the grid. Marco Wittmann is just ahead of him in time, so he's trying to beat Marco's 1:16.579 to get onto the second row of the grid. Can he do it? 1:15, 1:16.674. Not quite, but that is one of his best laps. And it's on this lap, if there's no problems and no traffic, where he should be able to get even a bit more time out of those tyres as they get gradually quicker.
Just some traffic with the Mercedes in front.
René Rast is 17th out of 18, but he's just set the fastest first sector of anybody with the 25.6 in the number 33 Audi. It's Bruno Spengler on personal best laps, but Bruno's back in 16th place currently. There he is. And Spengler coming out of the last corner might improve him here. He's going to be in the high 1:16s. Let's see, 1:16.6. That's a very good final sector, actually. Gets him up to 8th place. That's much better for Bruno. Top driver, the Canadian, the former champion. And René Rast has had a good personal best in the second sector as well. And goes third. He goes from 17th up to 3rd place, René Rast. So he puts Nico Müller down to 4th place.
Tom Blomqvist coming with a really good second sector.
1:16.346. Tom Blomqvist to the top of the times. We've got BMWs first and second. It was Mercedes having a 1-2 in qualifying yesterday. It's BMWs at the moment. Ekström going well and improving up to 6th place. So it's Blomqvist, 1:16.346. Martin second, 1:16.379. And just a few hundreds between them. And then Gary Paffett third, 1:16.406. Has actually set exactly the same lap time as René Rast, but he did it sooner. And so Rast has to settle for fourth provisionally on the grid at the moment. You saw Nico Muller there, who is in 6th place. Also in the top 5, you've got Robert Wickens, who's been going well this weekend. Ekstrom is 7th, Green is 8th, Farfus 9th, Wittmann in 10th place. Lucas Auer is last but one. Pole yesterday, 17th today, and that pretty much sums up the nature of DTM and how unpredictable it is. The clock has ticked down to 0, so this is everybody's last chance to improve. Nico Muller had a good first sector. The second sector was okay, but nothing special. What's the final sector going to bring? It brings him 1 place higher up the grid. He goes from 6th up to 5th place. Tom Blomqvist, he's already on provisional pole. He might about to be extending his advantage here, though, because he set the best second sector of anybody. He gets a good clean run coming out of turn 12. The checkered flag awaits. Can he hold on to this pole position and improve? 1:16.323. He does. His last lap is fractionally better.
Jamie Green is also coming with a really good lap.
Second. Front row of the grid for Jamie Green. Started last yesterday. That is much more like it. Might be like Hockenheim this. A bad first race, a good second race. Gary Paffett, what can he do? About to start his 151st race in DTM this afternoon. Can he get himself on the front row of the grid here? Through we go. Robert Wickens has gone to the top of the times with a 1:16.299.
Okay.
Paffett comes through 1:16.368. He will have to settle for fourth.
Tom currently P2.
So Robert Wickens 1:16.299 seconds. 1:16.323 for Tom Blomqvist, who probably thought he got pole position sorted there. He had the first and second best laps, but then Wickens pulled it out of the bag right at the end of the session. Only by 24 thousandths of a second, but he did it, and it's again a Mercedes that's going to be on pole position. Wickens going well. He was second yesterday. He's on pole position today. So Robert Wickens, Tom Blomqvist, the top two. Mercedes from BMW, and then Audi in third. Jamie Green will be pleased with that. Gary Paffett is going to be fourth on the grid. Again, nothing between them. They were all within 69 thousandths of a second of each other, the top four. Maxime Martin was provisionally on pole for a while in that session, but he ends up in 5th place. René Rast in 6th position. Nico Muller will start 7th. Matthias Ekstrom 8th. Augusto Farfus 9th. Marco Wittmann in 10th. Mike Rockenfeller 11th. Bruno Spengler 12th. Timo Glock 13th. Luc de Val in 14th. Lucas Auer back in 15th this time. Yesterday's pole sitter and winner. All the rest are still struggling 16th. And then it's Engel and Motara 17th and 18th. And that's the moment that Wickens crossed the line to get the pole position time. Gary Paffett you see there as well, going well to be on the second row of the grid. And there's Jamie Green, who's also going to be on the second row of the grid. It's going to be a Canadian on pole, and then British drivers second, third and fourth, Blomqvist, Green and Paffett. So their confirmation of the results of qualifying, and you can see how close it was. Maxime Martin is 5th, but he's only 80 thousandths of a second away from provisional pole position. Tremendous stuff, and all three marks have got somebody or several drivers up there in the top 10. BMW is definitely improving, though, moving up the rankings in this qualifying session compared to yesterday.
Yeah, we also seen Lucas Auer is struggling a lot. He struggled a lot to get a decent lap time. Our pole sitter from yesterday losing almost 7/10 of his lap time of qualifying yesterday. Also, Mortara is struggled a lot during the full qualifying. He's the only driver out of the 1:16.
That's right.
So yeah, all the four Mercedes, they were struggling. I would say with the weight, probably it's getting now paid off. The extra weight probably Lucas has from Hockenheim and now into Lausitzring. But it's everything still open, Chris. We've seen in Hockenheim drivers being in the back of the grid, coming to the front. We saw many strategies yesterday happening around. Drivers pitting really early in the race, drivers pitting really late. So we'll see later what the race has for us.
Yeah, yes, qualifying is only one small part of it. The race is very often giving us a different result, but great effort by Robert Wickens. 5th pole position in DTM for the Canadian. And this then is how they'll line up for the race this afternoon. On pole position, Robert Wickens.
In second position, BMW from Tom Blomqvist.
Starting in 3rd place, we'll have Jamie Green, who was at the back yesterday.
Fourth place, race 151 for Gary Paffett.
And then on row 3, Maxime Martin starts 5th.
René Rast, P3 yesterday in the race, P6 now in the grid for this afternoon race.
Nico Muller retired yesterday, but 7th on the grid for race 2. And
Matthias Ekstrom, P8.
And then Augusto Farfus, much better in 9th.
Last year, DTM champion Marco Wittmann in P10.
Then just outside the top 10, Mike Rockenfeller will start 11th.
Bruno Spengler a bit better than yesterday, P12.
yeah, much improved for the Canadian. Timo Glock will be 13th with work to do.
Rookie of the championship, Loic Duval, P14 for him.
And then 15th this time for yesterday's pole sitter, Lucas Sauer.
Formula 1 driver Paul Di Resta now in P16.
Maro Engel, 17th.
And last position of the grid for the Italian driver Edoardo Mortara.
Absolutely right, and even tighter the gap between first and 18th in that session. Yesterday it was a second, today it was only 0.8 of a second covering the entire grid. So here, an onboard view with Lucas Sauer fighting away at the wheel. Was struggling, wasn't he, for turn-in, and had to take to the escape road.
Yeah, he had to do the oval around, so probably he lost some time there, but I don't know if this happened on his main lap, fastest lap, or... because it's really strange. Sometimes when you overshoot the first corner, you are a bit faster on the oval, but I don't think so.
Maybe it was his last lap. Maybe that was his chance to improve, and it didn't pay off. So here then, a view of the top 3 cars from qualifying. Jamie Green for the Hoffman Group Audi. Team Rosberg starts 3rd for the race this afternoon. Starting in 2nd place, Tom Blomqvist for the BMW driving experience, the BMW M4 on the front row of the grid. Tom looking to score points after being out of the points in yesterday's race. Actually hasn't scored any points so far this year. But he'll pick up 2 points for qualifying 2nd, and Robert Wickens will pick up 3 valuable championship points for being on pole position. The Canadian in the Mercedes AMG, run by the very experienced HWA team, did that right at the end of the session. It's like huge crowds already filtering in here. It was absolutely packed, that grandstand yesterday. And they are in for a real treat for the race this afternoon. Absolutely no doubt about it. So a fantastic race coming up. Hope you enjoyed our coverage of qualifying from Alex Terrell and me, Chris Hartley. It's going to be another fantastic DTM race. We'll see you for it later on today here at the Lausitzring.